Hello everyone, a warm welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well by God's grace. I am very well too. So today I want to share with you how I make starch. Okay, so cassava starch. Join me and I'll show you what I mean. So of course, cassava starch. So we need cassava, okay? So I have fresh cassava. You can use frozen cassava if that's what is available to you, okay? So fresh cassava and I peel it, right? I'm going to peel all of it, right? And I'm going to cut it into pieces, right? So you're going to be blending it. So what I do is I take off all the bad, bits from the cassava, take the stem out of it, okay? And you can just do everything on the chopping board, right? You don't have to put it in your hands like the way I'm doing it. I have real experience in doing that. So please put it on your chopping board so that you do not hurt yourself, okay? So yeah, I'm going to chop. You can chop it if you have a powerful blender like that. Otherwise, you can use your grater to grate it so that it's easier, just as you see me do. It's easier on your blender. You add water, but when you're making starch, you need a lot of water. So what I am doing right now was actually two recipes in one. The first one, which I've already shared with you, was making the cassava dough, the agbelima. Okay, so I decided to use that opportunity, okay, to make some starch. Yeah, so I'll show you how it goes. So first of all, you blend your cassava very smoothly, okay? So I wash the blender jug, everything. Don't worry about the water because we need it for the starch anyway. Okay, so in a sack. So this is an organza fabric that I've sewn it into a sack for these things. Okay, so you can use nutmeg bag or cheesecloth or whatever you have. Okay, so what I did was to pour everything in it and squeezed all the water out. Okay, and that is it. So the water sits for a couple of days, 2 days, and it settles. Everything settles under, right? So the sediment will be the starch, okay? So it's been like 2 days and it's settled completely. You have to let it sit for long for it to settle. So 2-3 days. If it hasn't settled, let it settle, but it will settle by then. Okay, so I poured all the water on it, and when it settles well, you see the brown stuff on it, the brown bit of the sediment. You can easily wash it off because the cassava has set really, really well. Okay, you see, as I'm shaking it around, it's just clearing off all the brown bits of the cassava. Okay, so you make sure you wash it all off. I added some more clean water to make sure all the brown bits are washed off. Okay, so yes, everything must be, and when that is done, you see, that is, you can use your finger. So I use my finger to sort of scrape it off because it was really stuck to the starch. Okay, so use your finger to just rub it a little bit so that you can get all that off. And once that is done, what you need to do is to dry the top. You dry the top, okay? So it's wet, so you can use kitchen towel to do that. And I used a kitchen towel too, or maybe whatever you have. Dry everything, but it has to be clean, okay? Dry, make sure all the excess water is off, okay? So yeah, I'll take it out for you to see, but at this stage it still has some moisture. So when you take it all out, just as you see me do, and you leave it, it will all settle, it will all go back together. It's like, I don't know, it will all settle again, all go back together. So you see how I'm breaking it all apart now. You can do that, but then when you leave it for it to dry, you come back and it settles. So about a day or two, I decided to put my kitchen towel on it. We call it napkin here or something, yeah, to soak more of the water. And you can see that it is now dry, a little bit dry. It's not totally dry, but it is dry. So now I can break it all out and spread it. But when I was making this starch, I didn't have any sun at all. I didn't have any sun, so I air dried it. Okay, everything was air dried. But if If you have the sun, super, you can just leave it out in the sun, and by the end of the day it's nicely dried. Okay, so I took it all apart as you see me do, and broke it all into small pieces, and that is like, our starch done. This is very easy. And the reason I made starch was I was going to make igbe biscuit. Okay, igbe biscuit, it is very, very delicious, and I needed a starch. I didn't know I could get some online, but later I got some online, so I used that instead, and I kept this one. It's nicely dried, and starch is sometimes you can use starch for a whole lot of things. Back home in Ghana, we use starch to iron. So you cook it, make it into porridge, and you soak your white or your shirts or your clothes in, and then you dry it and it becomes stiff like rock. Then you iron it, then it's very nice, right? But that's not what I'm going to use that for. We use it for a whole lot of things. But yeah, so I sieved some, okay, for it to be nice and smooth. You can also put it in a blender and blend it, and it becomes very nice and smooth, and you use it for whatever you need it for. Okay, I need it for igbe biscuit, so I'm going to bring you igbe biscuit in my weekly series, coconut weekly series. Okay, so thank you for joining me. I hope you have learned a thing or two how to make this, and I hope it is useful to you. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.